Hello, everyone. It's Zara Altair, and this is the Midweek Zap. And we are going to be talking about manners with Susan Finch today. So, welcome, all the Zapsters. We've already got some great comments, so just keep them coming. And Susan, welcome, welcome. I just want to share with everybody my first experience of Susan was when I first came to Google Plus, and probably the first or second hangout I watched. Susan was there, and I was just, this is the most fantastic smile. I just love her smile. So, but she also has a brain, so we're going to dip into that today. So, Susan, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, and you kind of covered it in the green room. I'm an instigator. I like to inspire people to create, make things better, get their bottom line up through different things, whether it's marketing, social media, being out in person. I love helping people improve through teaching them and creating for them. That's what I do.
Okay, that's great. And so we're going to learn about manners. I was thinking about manners and morals this morning and the difference because
Somebody asked.
yeah, and I think it boils down to morals are what you believe, manners are what you do.
I think that's a great way to just simplify it and be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a long discussion.
No.
So, when I first talked to you, and I did a couple of months ago, whenever that was, and we were thinking about topics for the show, this just popped right into your head, and you were ready to go that day. So tell everyone why, this is number one top theme for Susan these days.
We can learn all the tech and all the tools and all those types of things that we want. But if you can't back it up and present it properly, communicate it properly, nobody's going to listen to you. And chances are they're going to do more than not listen to you. They're going to make you go away. They're going to wish you into the cornfield and you're gone. So I'm on Facebook, not as much as many, but when I go there, I'm stunned almost daily at the crud that people post. My brother and I just howl. I have people on Facebook that I've known since I was 2 years old, and that's not family. Those are people I've known since preschool, that I've, from the neighborhood, and I'm stunned. I don't know why, but I'm constant. I was talking, Zara and I were talking this morning, or before the show, the difference between how, I can only speak for myself, how I gather my friends on Facebook and make my connections here on Google Plus and YouTube, and even LinkedIn. I put those together. What's interesting is, the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, they're kind of by default. They're just with me. They're in my heart. They're in my head. They're in my memories. And I bring them along, accepting who they are, where they come from, how they'll never change. And there they are. So I accept the good, the bad, and the ugly from them, unless they're totally offensive or go off their meds. Now over here on Google Plus, it's more of a gathering of looking for interesting posts, interesting people I can learn from, be inspired by, mentor, help, whatever, but there's those common threads, and that's how I've gathered them. It's based on who they are now, what they've become, not what they used to be, and how I just bring them in like family. So it's kind of that interesting dynamic between the two. I do post differently to both because people glaze over on Facebook if I post my thoughts and business things that I post on Google Plus. They don't get it. They want to see pictures of my puppy and my kitties and my friends and my family and what I made for dinner. And over here on G Plus, I don't post any of that because I want to get to it, and I value everybody's time here so much. So with that in mind, and knowing that background of how I view those things, I got to tell you a bugaboo. And for those of you in MLM, hey, good for you. And for those of you who don't want to accept the fact that what you do is MLM, get over it. But don't post it on my wall. Don't. It's one of those things, you're violating a trust. Recently I've had somebody post something to my wall. Not a big deal, it's Facebook, I can delete it. But I'm traveling and all of a sudden, oh, so-and-so tagged you in this photo. I'm like, oh, I wonder what it is. I look and it's like, want to lose weight? Check with me now. I can help you. I can inspire you, and we can change and make your life better and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why'd you tag me in that? So I untagged myself. And I wrote to her privately and said, hey, please don't do that. You know, that's your business. You're plugging your business on my wall, trying to reach my people.
What was your response?
Her response is, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I love you. I said, okay, cool. So that's off. A week later, I'm at the Train concert. Another one. And she tagged me again in something. Didn't post it to my wall, but tagged me in it. And I said, honey, we had this conversation. She says, well, I was just hoping maybe you'd know some friends that might want to do this. And I reminded her that we are 1,000 miles apart. We know the same people down there. You know the same. She knows the same people down there. Up here, we have other people that are health coaches that they can contact. Don't plug your business, because I can't fully support your business anyway, because I don't agree with the model. Please don't. And don't do it again. I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll see what happens in a week. Hopefully, you know, she isn't suffering from short-term memory loss. Because then we can all just post and pray for her. But, you know, that's all I can do. But it's not nice. You know, people trust us. I mean, that's a basic manners thing. You don't go, do you go to their house and put a sign on their garage saying, my friend, you know, so-and-so has a car wash business, go over there? You don't do that. It's not nice. You know, and that's just that basic type of thing.
I like the garage door example. That's
when you make it a little more physical. It's
Yep.
kind of like spamming. Do you want people coming to your door knocking on? Hey, do you want me to do your roof? Hey, do you want me to do this? Hey, do you want? No. So don't spam me with your crud. Don't write on my stuff. That's just rude. So, you know, that's just top of mind. Sorry. I mean, when we originally came up with this topic, that wasn't on my radar, but it really
Right.
ticked me off. It was just. But, you know, I had another friend, she called me, and she had bad news to tell me. And she wanted to tell me before she made it more public.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very grateful for that. But it reminded me, too, the people that announce so-and-so died in my family on Facebook first. Really?
Oh, my gosh.
That's where you want us to hear it? So-and-so is dead. You can send flowers here. Really? Or I got married or had a baby. Good news or bad news. You know, the timing and the place. That's logic. You don't announce to your family that way. Maybe you all do. Okay, fine. That's where you guys are at. I think it's tacky.
Yeah, it is. We have a really brief question from Jeff Lorman. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for being here.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Jeff. I didn't mean to acronym at you. That's rude, too. That brings me to another point. MLM, multi-level marketing. That would be Herbalife, MetaFast, Tupperware, the jewelry products, Mary Kay, and all those types of things where you rely on building your business first from the people you know, roping them in, then having them go to the next level and they rope their people in, and you keep making money. AKA Ponzi scheme. It's all the same. It's a pyramid basing thing. I don't like the model. I might like some of the products once in a while, but I definitely don't want people promoting it on my stuff. So I hope that answered that question. But that brings up a really good point, though. When we are in business and we are posting things for the public to see, sometimes we make assumptions because we're so wrapped up in our own industries that we acronym at people. And not everybody knows what your acronym means, and it might mean something different to them. So when I post to business and marketing people about CRM, ROI, you know, all those different terms, I'm sure making a lot of assumptions that other people who read my stuff know what that means. And to a large degree, that's rude.
Oh, I totally agree. I had a post on my business page a while back, and the image was just all the acronyms, this huge list of acronyms that people throw around, and and when you're trying to reach customers, this is a little bit off topic, but maybe not, because you still want to reach your customers or potential customers, and you're slinging all this stuff at them. It's just bewildering. They're not in. The answer is how this works for them. It's not showing people how smart you are because you know all these acronyms.
And that is the other thing. They feel stupid. It's not nice.
No, it's
if
not.
They're your client, you want them to be the smartest people around and have them attribute that that knowledge to gaining a lot of it from you. Bring them along with you. Share the secrets. And even if you say CRM, customer, marketing, relationships, and blah blah blah. ROI, return on investment, those types of things. But I've done the same thing with acronyms all over my head. I run into it in the real estate industry. I take notes from meetings. It's like, what the heck are they talking about again?
Yep.
And so I have to go back and look it all up to make sure that it's this one thing and not this offensive thing. Because you have to be careful with your hashtags, folks. You might get the wrong thing listed in your post.
I've got to share a couple of comments with you.
Okay.
One is Jeff Lerman back again. Very frank point of view and realistic. And then Brian Shea says, WTF, water the flowers.
Oh, yeah, because that's how Brian Shea talks all the time. He's always talking about watering the flowers.
Now, we have some comments in the stream about negativity. So, Wiwick says, trying hard to be negative. It means the person is so positive that she has a hard time trying to be negative. Good thing, isn't it?
Wow, that whole negative thing, and I know you've covered this with Mia Voss in the past, and it's always relevant. Folks, if you're in a cruddy mood, stay off social media. It taints everything. People can feel it. It's not nice. And whenever you're always going to have this skewed point of view when you're responding to people and take things out of context because of where you are. And on the opposite side of that, remember when other people do the same to you, chances are they have something else going on. It's really not about you. Get over yourself. When people are crabby, it's rarely, if it's about you. If you're bad. If you did something nasty or mean or wrong or unethical, okay, then you deserve it. But if you're puzzled, it's like, relax. It's not you. It's them. So just give them some space. Back off. Don't dig at them. Don't chase them. Don't start, oh, what's wrong? Blah, blah, blah. The people that fish for those compliments, that post, I'm having a really bad day. And the ones that are doing it because something's going on or they're fishing. You're better to not play the fishing game. And please don't bait your hook either. If you need attention, call a good friend. Go for a walk. Do something else. But if you're in a foul mood, change your venue. Don't go digging for more online venues for it. Change the scene. Put the headset down, turn the speakers up, whatever, walk away. Go
Breathe.
Do something. Breathe. Go somebody else. Go pick weeds. If you need to nitpick at something, go pick some weeds.
Yeah, I know. I have what I call weed patrol. I go out, I take a break, and I'll go out and I'll spend, even 5 minutes just wandering around the yard. And if I see one of those little weeds trying to, establish itself, boop, off it goes. But just that 5-minute break, being outside, pulling the weeds, doing that, it settles.
It does. Yeah, because you don't want to, as far as manners go too, sometimes good manners and being, the most compassionate is to ignore. Let them vent.
Yeah, let them
get it out, but it doesn't mean you must respond. And who are you to think they're waiting for your response?
Yeah, and I want to, Bill Graham has a really good comment here.
Okay.
Bill was actually responding to We Wait, but he says, trying to be negative. I see that in those people that are afraid of anything outside their box and come up with non-valid excuses to not even try. When you ask why, they have no real reason or explanation. They say things like, I just couldn't do that. Sometimes the reason is simply just because. They try to be negative rather than try to succeed. In my opinion, not a good thing. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but as you know it. Most anger, most attacks, everything comes from fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, what has helped the most to stay in a better place and to not be affected by that is it's something that my mom taught me a long time ago. I come from a nice Catholic background, and she would say, "Pray for them." And when I can come from a place of compassion rather than getting the gloves on, it works much better. It brings it all back to being human, and we don't know what's going on inside of other people. We just look at what they project on the outside. So if it's not making sense or if they're negative, I feel bad for people that have to resort to that for their day and for their way to communicate. It's like the children that get all the attention from throwing brat fits. Nobody's rewarding them when they're calm and watching TV, or calm and reading a book, or being kind to the dog, or whatever it is. When they get the most attention is when they're doing something terrible. And my children's, one of their preschool teachers had a wonderful, bit of advice, because she's a really good preschool teacher. She said, reward the mediocre.
Oh, I like that. Reward the mediocre.
It takes the pressure off of people to have to be one extreme or another. And so it's okay for this part. It doesn't always have to be like this to get our attention. I have a friend that when she comes to stay, she just likes to sleep on her couch. We don't do a whole lot. She says, I'm just peaceful here. And that's just why I like to come.
I have friends who do that too. They come to stay just 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 to be, and they can either engage or not. Do you know? But it's
Right.
well, it's part of being the safety of friendship, I think.
It is, but I take that as the biggest compliment.
It is.
If somebody comes to my house that I think is chaos most of the time to decompress, that just touches me so deeply. And it tells me I want to be more like that. I want to have that effect on people. And sometimes that's the best cure for others is for them to see the example and realize they could do it too.
Yeah. Brian Shea has another comment about
I
being.
bet he does. What?
Brian says, sometimes people think something is a negative, but it's only because they are so used to it. When I see something that appears to be negative, I choose to give the benefit of doubt that I'm reading it wrong. There you go for compassion.
That's a great point, Brian, and it's true. It's so easy to just, it's like texting. You read the wrong tone into it. Nothing can replace the phone. And how do you convey what you're really trying to say? You can only do so many winky faces. And if you're having a winky face everything you say, chances are you're being a little sarcastic. And you might need to bring it back a bit. But what I've noticed is, folks, do you even realize, can you tell when people are smiling on the phone?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear it. You can hear it in their voice, and they sit differently. And I do a few video conferences for regular meetings, and we'll practice that. I'll practice that with my client. He said, okay, now smile and talk. And not only does he smile more, he sits straighter. And there's a different level of communication happening, and his whole mindset shifts, and you can watch it. And so, when that happens, I said, nobody's going to return your call if you're not smiling when you leave the message. I mean, that was one of the things my husband, he used to laugh when I had an art gallery, and I'd have to collect on layaway payments and things, or follow up with people to try and get the sale, just and get the sale out of them. But he would say, you give good messages, because everybody would call back and give me money.
Yeah,
So
really,
they can hear
really,
it.
the approach. long ago when I was working in a medical office in graduate school, it was part of my job to, follow up on the people who owed money to the medical practice. And I would call them up and I just engage in a conversation, you know, and then they would tell me why the bill wasn't paid or why they were having difficulty or whatever it was. And then they would pay something, I mean, it might take them a
Right.
while, but they would pay off the bill. And the doctors were like, we've never had anybody who could, you know, collect from all these people. And they were like, how do you do it? And I said, I just, talk to them and find out why the bill isn't being paid. Because usually it was something had happened.
Usually it is, and in those situations too, think about if they're not paying it, chances are they're scared because they don't have the money to pay you. There's shame involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they've let their family down, whatever it is, and now you're mad, and they're scared too that you might throw them into collections.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such a big thing, and to be able to approach that differently can change all the results.
It definitely changes the results. So WeWake has another comment about negativity, and I'm glad people are bringing up on negativity because it pops up. It pops up, and he says the problem with negative people is they have a problem for every solution you have. So if you offer something, that's a problem. Negativity in people can only be countered by ignoring them. If you engage with them, you risk being infected.
Ew, that sounds terrible, but it's true. They're not looking for a solution.
No.
And that's where people get mistaken, especially, no offense, men, but you fixers that want to fix everything and make it okay. Sometimes people, again, just need to vent. Don't take the bait. You can have nice thoughts about them, hoping that they get through it, whatever it is, but walk away. Walk away.
Yeah. No, comment tracker is being strange for a minute.
And here's a off, sort of on topic, but off topic. Some of us get invited to these types of things. I've been invited to be a guest with you. And good manners dictate when you're invited somewhere. Not only do you RSVP first, right away, because that is good manners. I don't care what it is, whether it's an evite, whether it's a formal invitation, whether it's, do you want to be on my show? Michael Daniels will invite me to be on the game shows. Can't do it, many times, but I still love the invitations. So, when you are a guest on, do you want to take a break because you have a comment?
No, keep going. I'm
okay.
sorry. I just don't use it.
When you're a guest or you've been, somebody posts your blog post for you or shares it or whatever, take responsibility. If you've been invited to be a guest on something, this is for all you, HOA, video podcasts, all you kind of folks. If you're going to be a speaker at a conference, if you're going to be a speaker to a crowd, whether it's your local, Kiwanis group, I don't care. Give them your bio that you want them to use. Give them the photo you want them to use. Give them the links. Otherwise, they will dig up whatever they find and they will use it. It also shows that you were excited to be on their thing, their event, their conference, whatever it is, that you were excited enough to provide them with this little pile of things. And it's very nice for you then to share your excitement publicly in all the venues. And then after the event, talk about it again and share it to drive traffic back to the host, whether it's a host conference, a company, church, whatever it is. It's how you show that it matters to you and that they were important enough to you, and so is that experience that you want to continue to share it. It's the nicest thank you can give them.
It is. It is. I'm trying to translate Michael's comment, so bear with me a second.
I do like the comment that you have up there, though.
Peter Haley says negativity has many guises, but transparency is a thin veil.
It is. It's that I find socially, once I start to see all the, it isn't even just negativity, whether it's negativity, lack of integrity, and different, this gets into the morals thing, how they live their lives. If it doesn't fit with me, after a while, the more that you want to stay on that up and up and be somebody of integrity and be somebody, of consistent values, your your pool that you can pull from socially thins out substantially.
Yeah, it does. And then John says, John Schvetta, I hope I said that right, John. I have an international audience where English is not their first language. I give them the benefit of the doubt because they are making the effort to communicate in English. Susan, you're...
Yeah, I'm here. No, I was just letting you, there was a little bit of chaos here, so I wanted to just mute. So give them the benefit of the doubt because, well, and I get that, definitely. I mean, you have to, and that comes back to knowing your audience and where those lines are. You and I talked earlier this morning about that line to cross with your humor, with your opinions and things. Great, maybe it's who you are, but does it all have to come out of your head? I mean, some things you can just pull back. And if you're questioning it before you even push it out there, I wonder what they'll think about that. If you even have a nanosecond of that thought, shut up. Don't type it. Don't hit send. Just pull it back.
Yeah, nobody needs to hear that.
Well, they don't. I mean, if you're already questioning, you know it's not right. You know it's going to get you into trouble. You know it's going to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. Is that your goal? If you're questioning it, that gut is your compass talking to you. And just stop. Just shut up.
What if you have, well, people talk about a morals compass, a manners compass. What if your manners compass is, is off kilter and needs to be adjusted?
Then you need to recalibrate.
Yeah.
You know how you do that with your phone? You have to keep spinning it around and stuff in the room. You might have to do that. Maybe you need to realign yourself and get back to hanging out with the people that you used to. I notice, what's that old saying? Tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. If you're surrounding yourself suddenly, if you've shifted a little bit and you start to try out some new people and there's more of that negative going, it's gonna stick to you and it's gonna come out of you too. So if you're suddenly causing more problems, what's changed? Are you in a place of fear maybe more than you were? Are bad things going on at home? Or have you shifted your friends? Have you stopped going out on dates? What is it that has changed that, could be the culprit for the shift in you? And for me, the moral compass guides the manner one.
Yes, it does.
So, you can, if the manners one isn't in alignment, that means your other one isn't either. So it's time for a reset.
That's like, you need to get the compass adjuster on board. And then, so one more from Brian. Brian says, yes, Susan, help others help you. Do as much work for them as you can, so they just have to approve or alter instead of starting from scratch.
Can you put that more into context, Brian? I don't know why.
I kind of got lost on that one too.
I'm a little lost. I kind of see where you're going.
Brian, that would be cool.
Yep. A little bit more.
But then, Jeff has a great point. Jeff says, is there anything to this distinction between being genuine and being overly nice? Oh, go for it, Susan.
Nobody wants the sappy people. Just, if somebody compliments you 1,000 times a day, how many are you going to remember? The overly nice, the ones that try too hard, it's all phony. So you don't want to be around that either. I mean, I remember a story from elementary school about it was some far away, Susian kind of place. Then they had the warm fuzzies, the cold pricklies. So, the cold prickly is what we were talking about, the negativity. The warm fuzzies are the genuine feelings. And then they had the plastic fuzzies, the artificial warmth that gets showered on people. And you see it in sitcoms, different things, those, oh yes, you look beautiful, don't you, darling? And you're looking at them like, oh my gosh. And if you're so hungry for compliments, you'll accept it because you're not used to hearing anything nice. But for me, I don't want to be around that. It's exhausting. The phony balonies that are
Totally
just
exhausting. It's
sappy.
like, where is the truth?
Well, that, and what is your motivation? And that's the other thing. With whatever you're saying, check the motivation for saying it. And only you need to know that answer. Nobody else needs to hear it. Because I'm ticked at them, and I want to make it hurt. Okay? You're making a choice then. But identify that before you spew it out. And it's the same thing. Maybe their motivation was they're hoping somebody will feed it back to them if they say enough of it. Maybe they'll get invited to that thing they never get invited to because they have nothing to say and every conversation is totally vapid. So, they're just hoping to suck up. And that's all that is. That's just, nobody needs that around.
No, they don't. Hugo Levesque says, attitude influences behaviors.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How do you start your day?
Yeah.
Are you determined to be a positive contribution to the world? And I know that sounds really big to some people and a little too metaphysical or whatever you want to say, or spiritual. It's a decision you make every day before your feet hit the floor. How are you going to approach this day? And if you need to, revisit, how am I approaching this day throughout the day? Where are you looking for the positives? Are you looking for the gifts in every day? Because that will affect how you treat others and your manners and your negativity versus being positive. And it all starts from your decision. Nobody else can make that decision for you. I don't care what horrible things are going on in your life. You can still choose to have a better day. I've gone through stuff. I have gone through stuff. But even in the midst of it, if I could wake up from a place of gratitude for what I do have, good and bad, and be determined to be either of service or leave a more positive, footprint on the world for the day, then my day is usually a whole lot better than when I wake up with dread.
That's a really, really wonderful point. Dread. I think the bottom line for that is dread can be overcome, and it doesn't have to be the ruling emotion.
Dread's a choice. There are choices. I think people just get lazy. And again, if you start to get in the bad habit of bad manners, bad attitudes, everything else, you just keep doing it. And so something has to shake it loose. And sometimes it's a choice. Sometimes it's a friend almost slapping you in the face.
I'm going to bring Brian up one more time because with what you're saying is, my problem is I can be sarcastic often. So when I'm not, people might take something serious as a joke. The curse of the jester.
It is when that is your shtick. When you are always coming from sarcasm, which, as we know, Brian, probably not with you, but for a lot of people, when they always come from sarcasm, it's a security blanket. It's a crutch because they're afraid that if they're just truthful, people might not like it. So if they can shift it a little bit and try and make it funny or whatever it is, it takes the bite out of it and maybe gives them more acceptance. And, I come from a family of, sarcastic people. And it's exhausting after a while, especially from outsiders that come in, because they don't get it and they feel teased and they don't take it the right way and they don't realize that's how we communicate lovingly in our family many times. And they can't handle it. And when I'm removed from it now, because I moved away 10 years ago, I don't have the same tolerance that I used to have of it. And I find it less charming. It's not so charming after a while, because it's a lot of work to listen to that and decipher every time and weigh which way it's supposed to go. I would hate to miss something serious from Brian Shea, who is my friend. I would hate to miss something serious because I took it the wrong way when he was really reaching out. That would break my heart.
And then Peter Heatherly says, on the other hand, genuine niceness stands out like a beacon and
Yes,
encourages others.
I agree. I am so blessed to have people like you, Zara, like Jessica Duell, Michael Daniels, Ronnie, and all the group. The compliments I receive from so many of you is humbling, and it makes me it like I never hear that here. I don't hear that here, and it feels so good. It's like they saw that in me, and it feels so good. And it's one of those things I remember when I'm out. There's a restaurant we go to all the time, and there's this waiter, and oh my gosh, he's always like, he's always so negative. We love the food, but I feel like I'm annoying him. Well, the last few times we went there, he was pretty perky. And my husband, of course, said he must be on new meds. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But I thought, let me tell him. Let me reward what I'm noticing by telling him. I said, hey, I know you are smiling so much more lately. Has something great happened? Because I'm just noticing it. He stood up so straight and lit up as if it was the nicest thing somebody said to him all day. But somebody took notice. Realize how powerful we are, folks, when we take that time to notice a little thing, a nice thing. I don't care if it's clean shoes, white teeth, cute earrings, somebody standing straight, somebody being helpful to somebody else. When we notice that and we bring it up and thank them or express that we noticed it, it perpetuates that kind of continued behavior.
Yes, I think it's it's a continuum. Does that make sense? That
Yep.
that that the more you do it and the more you practice, the more it happens. And then we wake saying, start the day with great attitude, gratitude. Hundreds die every day. When we wake up after sleep, we should be grateful that we are alive. Gratitude. I try to do this every day. Not always successful, but I keep trying, Susan. we all we
It's
all
practice.
try and practice. But
That's that's all
I
it is. It's new habits to promote better manners, better behavior, better more whatever it is, better. Just better. Promote better. Reward better. Compliment better. And ignore worse.
I think that's a great summation. It is because it's so hard um, to deal with that negative stuff, and we learn, and all of this online behavior is really relatively new, and so we are feeling it out and testing it out, and I think from a touchstone standpoint, it's like, how would you deal with this in real life if you were face to face?
And that is the test. Would you say that to their face? In their house? Would you? And it changes the whole context then. Because you basically invaded their phone. They could be in their room, they could be in their kitchen, whatever it is, sitting with their family. Are you going to cause somebody to have a crestfallen look on their face because you just thought a zinger would be fun and they'd understand your humor? Or they chose to make an example out of you or shame you or show that you don't know something? Why would you do that? Stop it.
Susan, we're running to the end of our time. Do you have some last words of instigating wisdom for us?
I don't think I have any of that. It has been a pleasure to be here, though. And all I can do is just dare you guys to start the day out deciding to be good and recognize people for the mediocre and the good and tell them, don't take it to your grave. You might not have another day. Don't let them miss out on the fact that you noticed they did something really nice or cool or smart or brave, don't miss the opportunity. It's like that old Seals and Crofts song. We may never pass this way again. So leave the world a better place daily.
Oh, thank you, Susan. That's very beautiful. Thank you so much, and thank you for dealing with all these topics and behavior online and the bottom line. I love your bottom line, and so I want to thank you very much. I want to thank all the Zapsters for all your questions and comments. We couldn't even get to all of them because there were so many, and they were lots of fun.
Yeah.
And welcome to first timers here. So thank you so much for joining the Zapster crew.
Hey, and if you like the show, folks, don't forget, share the replay. Share it from YouTube, share it from here, and tell people why you want them to watch it.
There you go. Manners tip. Thank you, Susan. So anyway, I have I just have one announcement, and that is the Midweek Zap is taking the month of August off. And so we'll be 4 weeks without any zapping. So I hope you will all join me back at the beginning of September and have a wonderful month. And thank you all for being here today. This was a really great conversation. Thank you to Susan for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.
Bye.